Hey everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the new PortAventura recreation series on the channel. I'm very aware it's taking me nearly a year to actually put something related to PortAventura that it wasn't the trailer on the channel. I apologise for that, but we're here now. So basically what we're doing in this episode is I'm completely redoing, very nearly completely doing Shambhala's track layout again. Because after using a few different references and hell, even the Ace's Sky, like the mounted trains, I realised that I actually got some of the shaping quite wrong, and plus the ride was 4 meter anyway, so it needed a bit of a redo considering I'd done Dragon Khan quite a few times. So I decided now would be a good time to completely overhaul the layout and the shaping and everything else, and so I can turn this thing from a 4 meter, which was pretty good for 4 meter, but it wasn't perfect and it doesn't live up to the standards nowadays with the new, the mod and whatever. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm redesigning the first portion of the layout into the airtime hill. Now, something with this coaster, designing this coaster that I did a bit differently from other rides is I really focused on the lateral G-force. I know that it's important to keep your lats low, but you never really focus on them because it's always like, oh, well, I'll just shape it and then I'll bank it a bit more if I get too many lats or whatever. So, but what I really did was I shaped the ride as I thought it looked in real life. And then what I did was I went back and used the in-game lateral G-force and then rebanked certain sections so that the ride could pull as little lats as possible. And I ended up getting the but like after the drop into the airtime hill, like that kind of turn, I got that to pull 0.1 lats at the max, which I'm very happy about. And the figure 8 helix, which you're going to see, I think it was 0.3, which was at the very top where it slows down. But yeah, I really used the lateral G-force kind of in-game because after learning that the lateral G-force in-game is actually measured completely fine. It's not inaccurate, it's just certain areas of the forces that are measured aren't really that accurate, but the actual lateral G-force is perfectly fine, so use that. It took a few tries for me to realise that, minus lateral G-force is right-hand lats, so, if you bank the train 90 degrees to the right and you're getting like minus 0.5 lats, that means you banked it too much to the right. And then vice versa, if you've then banked it like, 45 degrees and you're getting positive 0.5 lats, that means you banked it too much, too little even, so change it. So, yeah, I really tried to use that when redesigning the certain elements. Like here, we're coming up to the figure 8 helix, which is you can see is already 1 meter because I did end up converting part of the layout into 1 meter anyway, just to kind of see how it was. And it ended up turning out okay. I mean, the banking was smooth, but the radius was choppy, it was bumpy, and the forces were a bit inconsistent, and I wasn't really happy with it. So, I mean, here I'm trying to replicate the parabolic hill by trying to use fences, and I'm not quite sure why I did this initially, because basically what I ended up doing is just blueprinting the half of it, then rebuilding it on both sides, so it's completely even. I think that might just be the strat for doing this now, so I ended up doing that, and then that way we can keep the hill to be exactly the same each time. So the top of the hill I also used like a slightly longer piece because I wanted the track connector to be at the very top, which is what it's like in real life. So I wanted to at least kind of have it look like that and be similar to what it actually was, as well as that. So yeah, I think throughout the build I do tweak quite a few bits of it, like, oh yeah, I forgot. Right here I took the old figure 8 shaping, which I actually really liked, and then just placed it in a position where, the layout was actually going to meet where it needed to. So the actual, I haven't redesigned the whole thing and built it up from scratch, I've kind of tweaked it. I've taken elements that I liked and then just rebuilt over them, so that the actual angles and heights and stuff are the same. One thing I did notice is that the actual very top of the figure 8 helix in Planko, if you really want it to pull 0 lats, you need it so it's really unbanked. It's almost at like a negligible banking, and that looks really weird, so I did end up, saying, okay, I'm not really bothered if it doesn't pull 0 lats, because I don't think at the top of Shambhala you do pull 0 lats. I'm certain it's got to be a few. So I kind of just said, well, you know what, it's good enough. So we'll take 0.3, I think it's minus 0.3, which is too much banking, so it's a bit slow at the top. So, I did my best. Here you can see I'm really trying to find those lats and get everything nice and smooth. So basically what I do is I just smooth the whole valley between the, hill and whatever, and then I test it try and find lats, tweak lats that I need to get. I just, go through, find bits that need to change, and then, we get it to a point where it pulls negligible lats, and it's really, really nice. So, one thing I do highly recommend is, never be satisfied with your first shaping. Always go back and check it. So, if you build an element, and then you just use 4 meter, smooth it, move, smooth it, move. Even better if you can use the faster smoothing mod, which is brilliant. Use that. Even if you do use that, your radius isn't going to be necessarily that smooth because of the way that Blanco works. So, I always say this, but take the whole element, spam smooth it, get that radius smooth, and then go back over with your banking. And if you use 4 meter initially, then to 2, just be wary that your 4 meter pieces are going to get a bit warped due to the smoothing system in game. So if you've got any heartline, just be careful in case some of it does actually kind of disappear. But it's a rare case that, you heartline something in 4 meter and it completely becomes an inline roll. You just got to know when and where to stop, really. So, yeah, you can see me here. I'm just kind of doing a few passes with 4 meter to get the banking realigned and perfect, just checking to make sure it works. Then I just go back and eventually turn it all to 2 meter and then 1 meter, respectively. Another major thing I did redo here is the speed hill. The speed hill was too steep, pulled too much airtime, sadly, and the the length of it was a bit too short as well. So having the figure 8 be a bit further back from the airtime hill now means that I have more room to actually build the speed hill and whatnot. So it's a lot shallower of a peak. I think it maxes out at minus 0.2 now instead of -1. I know Shambhala does have a lot of airtime on that speed hill, but it's not. It's just sustained floater. It's really, 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 fast sustained float. It's I think the term's flagector airtime. Powerful airtime that's sustained. So, it's kind of like that. But it's also taken at a very, very high speed. It's like 80 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. So, it feels a bit, more sustained than I think it actually is. So yeah, this is just me redoing certain sections here, making the valley of that smooth. Honestly, the end half of the ride, the shaping was fine. I didn't necessarily need to do very much, apart from maybe, I don't know, I think I changed it. Because initially I had the transitions in and out of the mid-course, they were one long piece. Because this, of course, was built before the mod, so we couldn't use 1 meter on the transitions to get them perfect. So, change that now. And I think it's fine. It works. There's still a little bit of jitters with 1 meter, and I genuinely don't understand why. Well, I do understand why. It's because, the way that the rolling works in Blanco, that it accelerates towards the middle, and even if the piece looks smooth and it physically looks continuously rolled, it won't act like that, because that's not how the game registers the wheel movements and the actual rolling of the game, which is really unfortunate, because you can have a perfectly smooth roll on 1 meter and yet it'll still jitter because the game needs to register each individual roll, accelerating towards the middle of the piece. So it's just unfortunate how that works. So yeah, here we got the figure 8 here. You can see I'm constantly testing it, slowing it down, and just tweaking parts of the banking to get it at 0 lats, or as close to 0 lats as I can possibly do. Of course, you're never going to get perfectly 0 lats on your turns, because slight inconsistencies with banking will cause that. So we're not perfectionists, but we like to have things close to 0. So yeah, I'm just going through here, sorting out the banking there, getting it all nice and smooth. Because I'm gonna wrap up the talking portion of the video fairly soon, but I will put one big disclaimer that part of my footage did get corrupted, so you're gonna see quite a jump in progress when I'm 1 metering the coaster from the drop to, I think it skips all the way to the end portion of the ride, or at least I think this airtime hill there that I'm working on. So just be wary of that. At least it did cut the time down from 45 minutes to 20, because this was going to be a long video, and I didn't really want to have a massively long time-lapse video, because well, I'm going to be putting out the very next episode of the Invert series fairly soon. Oh my god, look at this autosave here. I think towards the end of this week, I'm going to have the I'm going to have the final, I think it's the 4th, no, it's the 5th, the 5th and final episode of the Invert series out at the end of this week. I need to go and record the, working on it. We've only got a few more things to do with it. We've really only got the station. Well, we've already done the station. We've really only got the details and stuff for that ride to do, and then, you know, finish the path up, maybe put some benches and plants down, make everything look a bit polished, build an entrance and exit for the ride, entrance sign even, not exit, we've already got that, and then just finish the terrain and trenches and all that, and then we can call the thing done, and then we can put it behind us. I'll get a cinematic POV kind of video out for that, and there you go, we've built an invert. So I don't really want to, unfortunately this week's going to be 2 time-lapse videos, so I'll get back to posting like element tutorials fairly soon. I've got a few ideas in the works that people have suggested, so thank you very much. If you do want to see another tutorial, please put it in the comments below, and I'll probably get around to doing that at some point. I've been on a bit of a slow one with those recently, and I'm sorry if you've been looking for those. I just really kind of wanted to diversify what I was putting out on YouTube, because I noticed that for like, it must have been 3 months, back-to-back videos were just element tutorials after element tutorials, and it was like, okay, that's fun and all, but I want to put something different out. So I was like, I'll start the invert series, and I'll make the, you know, other rides, make videos for the things I've been working on, like Nemesis and whatever. So yeah, as we come to the end of this, I just want to say thank you very much for all the support again. I know I always say this, but it's mind-blowing, all the support. We're nearly at 400 subscribers already, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. My goal for 2021 was 500, and we're nearly there, and it's January 11th. And that's absolutely insane, so thank you guys so much for all the support. Like, honestly, I couldn't ask for more. It's brilliant, and honestly, I'm glad you guys are enjoying all the videos and stuff, and I'll keep putting them out because it's fun, and it's another thing to do during lockdown aside from online school, college, I should say. So it doesn't really matter, but yeah. So I'll wrap this up now, so you guys can just kind of, you know, listen to the. I think I'm going to overlay PortAventura music on this because, well, that's what everyone else in the building team is doing. Like, I just remember back in like May when me and Brad were working on the China recreation, I would always send him the footage and he'd put some good old-fashioned PA music on there, and it's kind of like, I'll do that, because why not? Yes, I'm not actually working in the park, I'm building it externally, I'm building a Shambhala in 1 meter, but hey-ho, it doesn't matter. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to wrap this up now. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all whenever, whatever. Oh no, it'll be the end of this week. I'll put out the invert series finale, and then towards the end we'll put a cinematic video out for that. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.